or even as the year progresses, I'm gonna write lessons that I've learned through the year. So there's like one place where I can review my life lesson for me, so I put that in. And then there was a time of the year that I thought, oh, maybe I should do some of this, and so I put it here as well. Let's go to 6. So number 6 is basically my carry around poetry notebook. It is housed in ones that I will rarely use but are still very, very important for me. Hi, this is Kai from Kikai Craft, and right now I am back with my definite set of notebooks for my Techo Kaigi 2024, or my planners and journals for 2024. I made a recent video of the whole transition, and I'll put a link up there for you. But today I just really want to share my setup with you, so that maybe as you plan your own set, you'll get a few ideas too. Okay, so first off, let's start with the ones that I will rarely use but are still very, very important for me. And that would be 1, my poetry book. And this is where, if you've watched my previous video, this is where I store my poetry, good poetry, bad poetry mostly. But anyway, any poetry that I have written, I store here. And it's basically like my vault, so I don't lose them as much as I do. So cringeworthy or what I think are really good, all of them are stored in these pages. So I collect them in another notebook that I bring around with me, but this one stays at home. I am using a Hobonichi cover, and with a plastic cover and cover, and I have their plain notebook between these covers. Okay, so that's what I use. I really like how thin it is. I like that I'm able to use my fountain pen, because I just love using fountain pens when I write my poetry, basically when I write anything nowadays. And so it's basically my setup for my repository of poems. So Hobonichi has my bet there. Another journal that I rarely use but still use is a traveler's notebook. Now this is the Traveler's Notebook Diner. This is from the first release. I was very lucky to get one through Japan, and this is where I store my travel. So basically I journal my travels here. I just have this in it, and that's to store some stickers that I might use. I have a craft folder for ephemera, or things that I might want to add at a later date but didn't have time to as I traveled. And then of course I have my travel pages. So it's a mix of pictures and stickers and ephemera from my different travels. So that's how it looks. And then at the end I just have this plastic insert where I can put post-its and maybe more stickers and other important bits. And that's basically how it looks. Oh yes, and of course this last bit where I put in my pens, one of my favorite hacks when it comes to keeping a traveler's notebook together. Okay, this is the Rarities Side B. I think cotton pocket refill, and yeah, so all of these are traveler's notebooks, and this is where I put my travelers like journals and all that. This is the lightweight paper. Why do I have this instead of other papers? Well, first, the size. It's quite a big size, and it's good paper, and I like the rustic look that this particular journal gives journaling. And I think that when you travel, or when I travel, I like to have generally a rustic look to my documentation. So this and this, right, are rarely used, But this one stays at home, this one travels with me. So this will be used, I think, this month and any month actually that I go for travel, anytime that I do. Okay, so those are my least used notebooks because of time restraints or because of its content. Now let's move on to the more commonly used notebooks that I have. So that's 2, yeah? Let's put it here, 1 and 2. All right, more commonly used, I'd say my journal for my inks and my pens would fall under that category. Now this is just an A5 ring binder sort of journal. I've shown this in my previous video and I will continue using this as I journal about my inks and my pens. And why do I have this instead of a notebook? I like the fact that since it's a ring binder, I can move things around and I don't need to worry about making sure it's all in chronological order, because that was one of the things that I worried about before. Now the paper that I'm using here is a Maruman paper and it comes looking like this. Maruman loose leaf in A5 size. It holds ink quite well. There is some bleeding if you are going to swatch it, but if you're just going to write and there's not a lot of like ink, it holds the ink quite well. And the paper itself is not too smooth, and I love that crinkly sound it makes when I use it. So this would be my notebook journal 4. Then let's move on to one of my more recent endeavors, and that is to play with watercolor. And so I got this Bao Hong sketchbook for that, and this is where I plan to document my journey. Now it's quite interesting because I actually started at the back because I had that feeling that I didn't really want the front page to look so bad. So I thought this is actually quite good because hopefully by the time I reach the front part of this notebook, this sketchbook, I hope that my painting skills would have become better. And so then as you flip through, you'll see the history of it. And so far I have these like practice things that I've done in the last week or 2, because I just recently started this exploration. I have a video about the basic tools that you'll need to start with it, because that's one thing that I struggled with when I started going into this exploration or play, whichever way you want to look at it. I'll put a link up there for you in case you're interested to know what the essentials are, like super essentials in terms of brands and all of that. So I'll put that up there. Okay, so that's notebook number 4. Then of course I have my commonplace notebook, and this is where I put my notes on my favorite quotes and whenever I play with writing and my pens. Currently it has the Leuchtturm and I have it in a Hobonichi cover from 2023. And yeah, what's inside is a Leuchtturm because I like the size of it and I like how it holds the ink. And basically this is where I put in a few of the quotes I like, and if I have a project or a challenge that I've just joined in, this is where I put them in. If I just want to play with my pens and practice, you'll see it here as well. So everything fountain pen related and play related, you'll find it here. Mostly it's a lot of quotations. Oh, this is one of my favorite pages. And this is how it looks inside. I like playing this one with this one. Zen Dangles, I think that's what it's called. So I have all of that here. And it's just a lot of fun looking through. This is when I tried to work with tracing paper. And I really liked how that came about. So it's like a little bit of my experimentation when it comes to fountain pens and fountain pen inks. So that is notebook or journal number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see most of them are in A5 size. Now, let's go to 6. So number 6 is basically my carry around poetry notebook. It is housed in a traveler's notebook. This is the passport size. So in case you're just starting or restarting with journaling and you're a little curious, this is the difference in size. So this is the traveler's notebook passport size, and this is the traveler's notebook regular size. It's quite a big difference. Difference in width and of course in length. All right, so what's inside this one? Basically poetry that I've thought of, or lines that I've thought of on the go. So it's a lot of scribbling and a lot of things that sometimes even I don't really quite understand, but it's much better than just having a voice recorder, because I tried that before and I couldn't understand anything. The background was so loud that I couldn't hear my voice, and that's why I came up with this. This is Traveler's Notebook, and inside is a refill from Galen. So if you're not familiar with Galen Leather yet, they produce a lot of really good leather products, but they also produce really good notebooks. And this is one of them. This is like your Traveler's Notebook refill with the lightweight paper, but it has so much more paper to it. So I use fountain pens for this, and as you can see, although there's a little bit of ghosting, it's not enough to bother. Well, it's not enough to bother me. And again, as always, my favorite hack is to have this cut and refill at the end, so I can put my fountain pen in it and cartridges if I so need. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 6. I don't know if you noticed, but my voice is a little shaky now today, because I think I am being, I think I have GAD today. That's general anxiety disorder. So basically what it does is just like everything feels just a little raw, and most of the time I can control it so other people don't really notice it. But if you pay close attention, usually this is when my hands tremble a bit and my voice trembles too. Very manageable, but can sometimes be what's this? Just a little tiring to carry. Okay, now we're down to my last two, which will be used very, very, very regularly. So this is 7 and 8. Now this one, I would say, they're both Hobonichi Weeks. They're both Hobonichi Weeks Mega. One is in lavender and the other one is in raspberry sneaker, if I'm not mistaken. And one is used during the day, the other one is used during the night. One is used for work and the other one is a bit more personal. So let's have a look at the one for work first. As you can see, it's already customized. I've been using it since October or November. Well, as soon as I got it, it got customized already because I was so ready to get a lighter planner journal for work. And so basically the plan is basically to put in a lot of the dates that I need to remember in the in this section. So when I open it up, I can quickly see what needs to be done for the month or for the following month. So I've already put in a lot of the important dates. And then in this section, okay, where you have the dates here and like a memo sheet here, the plan of course is to put in like important information here, things that might have happened or things that need to be done. And here would be like to-do lists, for example, or important notes that that need to be documented for that particular week. And then the memo part, which is the notes part, which is quite a bit of it, will be used to put in like specific to-dos. So I use a Bujo kind of style to it, wherein I list the to-dos, and then if it's done, I tick, and then if I need to move it forward, I just move the whole list minus the things I've done forward. So basically that's what this is going to be for. This also houses a little bit of the information for my YouTube channel. So I just have one notebook that I'll bring around with me. If I need it for my day job, I have all this. And then if I need to write something down for my YouTube, I have this. I might need to add more pages. We'll see as the year progresses. So that's the one for the day. And for the night, I'm going to continue using a weeks for my nightly journaling. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I do have general anxiety disorder. And so I do need to keep track of a few things to help me sort of monitor my mood. Because I need to monitor my mood. Apart from having GAD, I also have clinical depression, which this year wasn't so bad. And one of the reasons, because I do go to a doctor for that, and one of the things that I need to do is to sort of monitor what's going on. And so I have this part, this is my year, and I have color coded it so that I know exactly what my moods are. If you notice at the beginning of the year, that was when I didn't quite start yet. Well, there's a lot of like fluctuation when it comes to mood, and as the year progressed, it was more stable. Orange is stable, so it became more stable, although there were still days when it wasn't so great. And then I do have a page where I track my medicine. So I do take medicine for this, and so I have a tracker here. And sometimes I, especially at the beginning, okay, in case you have GAD or clinical depression or any other mental health issue, this is actually quite good, because I realized here that my mood was just a bit too fluctuating. And what I did was I cross-checked it against the medicine that I was given, and the doctor and I decided to sort of tailor it just a bit more for what I needed, and eventually it just became more stable here, more oranges, less of the blues, less depression, more orange. And here, as you can see, also my medicine just became from a lot to like just a few. Right now I just take 2 a day for like what I really need daily. So I'm bringing these and what I've learned from this over to my new nightly journal. And so it's not super fixed up yet, but yeah, because I wanted to share it, and as soon as I write things in, I won't be able to share a lot of it. So I just wanted to show you. Basically, for this part, I decorate the months as I go, and then, but before all of that, I put in all the bits of like important personal dates that I must remember, like my cat's birthdays and all that. And then for this part, what I do is I write a little bit about my everyday. And then here I either write like a reflection for the week, or maybe I write a quote that I super enjoyed, or a quote that I feel like I must remember. I'm trying to look for something like this, perhaps, right? Or something like this. Okay, so I write about my days here. So I write every night, and then I have a quote here. I write that quote maybe before, maybe after, maybe during the week. I sometimes put pictures as well, depending on what happened that week. And so I have that for this part. And for this second part, there's a little bit of a modification. So last year I had like a whole spread for my goals. That was just a bit too much. So now I just have one page for it. And my plan is at the end of 2023, or even as the year progresses, I'm going to write lessons that I've learned through the year. So there's like one place where I can review my life lessons, if you could say. And then of course I'll continue with the pixelated life chart that I have, using the same colors so that I can compare it. And of course, I'll be using the same medication tracker that I have here. And I'll be changing the colors a bit so they sort of like match this, because that's one thing that I learned from last year. And then here I will continue writing in like, it's like a commonplace notebook, but it's a bit more personal maybe, and a little bit more like, I don't know, reflects more about how I feel. For example, this was something I felt very strongly about this time of the year, and maybe here sometime in May I felt like this was important for me, so I put that in. And then there was a time of the year that I thought, oh, maybe I should do some of this, and so I put it here as well. And so there's a space for all these little explorations at the back. And so this year, since I have the mega, I feel like I have more space to play. Okay, so in total, is it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notebooks in the system this coming year. It's quite streamlined, I feel. I will be exploring more paper, just as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, but in terms of what I'll really be using, I feel that this is a good spot for me. I know exactly where to write everything, and I know what to use each journal for. Okay, so please do share your own if you want to put in links to your own videos below, so that we can all sort of contribute towards a pot of good ideas for our coming journaling year. Please leave the links below. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to watch what everybody else is doing, so that we can maybe share ideas and maybe get inspired by what everyone else is doing. And I hope that as we all prepare for the coming 2024, I hope that we are all blessed with good experiences and great people, and and good things to write about and good lessons to learn. This is Kai from Kikai Craft. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a great day, a restful evening, and that you're planning for a fantastic 2024. Bye, everyone.